Hi, my name is Ryan, and I have a story for you. My story begins on January 29th, 2017. The new American president had been sworn in a week and a half earlier, and dark ideas based on intolerance and hatred were rapidly growing in many parts of the world. Here in Canada, though, it seemed like things were much better. I felt pretty complacent. I wasn't all that worried. At around 8 p.m. that evening, it all fell apart. As I read about the attack on the mosque in Quebec City, I was devastated. Here, in Canada, 6 people have been murdered in a terrorist attack based on hatred and racism. I couldn't believe it. I realized I had to do something. Thoughts and prayers were not enough. It was the time for meaningful actions. But what could I do? How do you begin to push back against a darkness like that? Well, it started with a hug. The next day, Monday afternoon, I picked up my daughter Elizabeth from her bus stop, and we drove to the nearest mosque, carrying a piece of cardboard that said "Free Hugs" on it. I was quite nervous. I had never been to a mosque before in my life, and I had no idea what to expect. I was also concerned that, being the day after the attack, that I might scare people with my sudden first-time appearance there. Not only that, but this mosque had a window shot out 2 years earlier. I was worried that things might go very badly, very quickly. But I knew that I had to overcome my fear of the unknown and hope for the best if I wanted to take a real step towards pushing back the darkness. We had originally planned to stand outside the main doors and give out hugs, but we were very quickly invited inside where it was much warmer. Remember, January 30th, Canada. That day, we met and hugged well over 100 people. It was one of the most amazing experiences of my life, and Elizabeth had a fantastic time giving out hug after hug to people who would burst out in huge smiles when they saw us at the door with our sign. Many people told us of how grateful they were to see us and how much it had brightened their day. Some people had tears in their eyes. I began to understand how much stronger that feeling of fear would have been for me if I was a Muslim and had been targeted in the Quebec City attack. Thing is, while that attack targeted Muslims, it was actually an attack on all Canadians and on the idea of a shared, diverse, and welcoming community which Canada represents. On the 1-year anniversary of the Quebec City attack, I purchased and assembled a whole bunch of candles, just like this one, and gave them out at the mosque along with friends we had met there. The symbolism behind the candle comes from Martin Luther King Jr., who said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." This coming January 29th, 2019, I'm planning on bringing a whole bunch more candles just like that one to Ottawa and giving them out to our members of Parliament. Along with each of those candles, I want to include a memento of some kind, such as a story or a drawing, or both. I want to make sure that each member of Parliament hears from people all across the country, and I need your help to do that. Join me, and we can push back the darkness together, as friends and as a community. Thank you.